The angriest I've ever been, it's probably is gonna make me see. God, week after week, I'm just a shitty person, and this is just gonna make me see me even shittier.
Cappin and balls flapping. All this week on
Inappropriate with Jim and Steve.
Hey, welcome back to Inappropriate with Jim and Steve. I'm Jim.
I'm Steve.
We got an awesome show for you this week. Before we get into a couple things, Steve, I wanted to touch base on our episode 2 weeks ago with our 80s saxophone.
Oh, not the one where I'm a shitty dad.
Yeah, not
that
last
one.
week when you were a shitty dad, but the week before. I have to address, I called quarter fish.
Yes, I did get. I did get the correction from my sister. Actually, she sent me a message and said you did say that.
Right.
You fucked it. And she also said that she knew the words to Rio the entire time.
I said that to piss her off.
So Holly, we're sorry.
But there was so much going on in that episode. It was almost like it was dark. I looked down.
You had hair in your face.
I had hair all on my face. I looked down and I just saw quarter fish. And it was
quarter flash.
Well, I saw quarter fish, but
yeah.
You know what I should have read is quarter flash.
And I also, the other correction we got were, I said that saxophones were part of the brass instruments and where they're actually a woodwind.
Oh.
You know, for you nerds out there that got all pissed off.
We love
that.
that you keep us honest over here at the Inappropriate Show. So do you know what's special about today, Steve?
What's that?
It's 2 days before what?
2 days before, birthdays.
Before your birthday.
My birthday, yeah.
Your birthday is the 9th on Friday?
June 9th, 69.
We have some listeners that want to wish Steve a happy birthday. Just comment. I'm sure I'll put a little happy birthday post on Friday.
I'm sorry we missed your birthday.
No, that's okay. But I didn't miss yours. Probably because I'm a better friend.
Yeah.
And I brought you something. I brought you something.
What's that?
I got you a gift. I really hope that you enjoy it.
Man, I'm such a shitty friend. I'm such a shitty friend. All right, for the listeners, if you know, you know, I have everybody's favorite guy, the guy. If you know, you know. I don't know his real name.
It's a bobbledick.
It's about.
Take the sock off.
It's the funny look. If I flick it, thanks, buddy. This is one of the best gifts I've ever got in my entire life. If you know, you know. A little bobbledick guy. Oh, it's so fucking funny. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it. God, I'm sorry I didn't get you anything for your birthday.
That's all right.
Did you hear about Robert De Niro?
Oh, yes.
Robert De Niro decided to have another kid. I think it's his 7th kid at the ripe old age of 79.
What the hell is wrong with people? Who's banging Robert De Niro?
And when you look at him, he looks like he is a grandfather
because he's not all make-upped up, and he's not doing a role for a movie.
Yes.
He looks like an actual old man.
And I can't understand why. I mean,
they just have kids because they can pay for them, but they don't realize that there's other aspects of raising kids.
Like Robert De Niro. So if he decided, so he's at 79. So let's just round it up to 80, just for math purposes.
Christ.
So if he lives long enough to see this kid graduate high school, he'll be 98 years old. Like, why? What's the purpose of having a kid at that age?
I mean, even at this point, he's not changed. I mean, maybe he can change a diaper, right? But beyond that, he's not chasing him around he's not chasing around the living room.
Yeah.
He's not going out and throwing the ball around or what, teaching him to learn how to ride a bike, right, Steve?
Yeah. Yeah, he's not doing any of this. For the life of me, I'm trying to think I don't know how old his wife is. I should probably know
It's
that.
probably 25.
So, yeah, yeah. I feel like at 79, it's probably, or 78 probably, when he decided to get it in. Like, it's not fun at 78, do you think?
Fun being a dad at 78?
Well, no. I'm
Fun having sex.
Conception.
I think it's still fun. I mean, I hope I'm still banging at 78.
You ever hear where they say that nursing homes are like the biggest?
Oh yeah, they're just getting it on.
Yeah, like it's like one of the like biggest transmitting of like
super
STDs.
spreaders.
Yeah, STDs because the old people just get it on all the time.
I mean, sluts get old too.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe just don't grow out of it.
Look at an 80-year-old slut.
And I mean, now with like Viagra, there's no stopping you.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Wrinkly up balls and shit.
so Robert De Niro, he's married.
Okay,
I think
mean,
so. I think.
we can look up his wife. Intern, what's Robert De Niro's wife's name and how old is she? Tiffany Chen, because he
Tiffany
recently
Chen.
divorced his wife. And Tiffany Chen, get this, is 26 years old.
Really? When Robert De Niro was 30, she still wasn't born. She wasn't even born. 30 years ago
he was 50.
30 years ago would have been 80, 50. Yeah, he would have
It's
been
like
50.
right-
So he's still old.
And she was born when he was 50. It blows my mind.
So Jim, all right, Jim, that is, you're in a nursing home. You're going around. Do you find the other 80-year-olds attractive?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to say that's true, that you would, but then like there's Robert De Niro who decides he wants to bang in a 26-year-old because you know why? 26-year-olds probably are more attractive than
Of
an
course.
80-year-old.
And I mean, if I'm 80, I think I would look at a 26-year-old more fondly, but know that there's not a chance that I'm banging a 26-year-old.
Yeah, I
Do you know
guess.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But so you're like, you're kind of with your own age. And STDs, if you're that old, you're like, fuck, I'm gonna die anyway.
Yeah, I really don't think like STDs would be a hindrance for me at age 80.
What do you do all day at a nursing home? You play bingo. You go to knitting club.
Yeah.
You eat your applesauce in the morning. Whatever it is,
Yeah,
you hit
yeah.
on the nurses. You don't do shit. You hope your grandkids come by. You know, once a month. You know,
Yeah.
and then you bang.
All right. So your grandkids are coming in. All right. So you have your choice. Your grandkids are coming in, or the hot 85-year-old is wanting to hook up. Do you tell your grandkids to?
No, when I'm in a nursing home, I would want my grandkids and family there as often as
I
possible.
feel that's probably true. Like you decide that.
I'm banging because no one's coming to see me. So I have to do something.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be hanging out with, I mean, maybe my great grandkids at that point.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? It oddly brought up a fact because I was thinking of like a lot of old people look the same. Do you know what I mean? And you know why?
Why is that?
Because you have a human. Two features never stop growing. Your nose and your ears never stop growing.
Your nose keeps growing.
Your nose and your ears continue to grow
I have a
throughout your
big ass nose, and it's just always gonna grow.
And if you look at old people, their noses are always bigger, and they
Yeah.
always have these big ass ears. And I got bigger ears than the average person, so I know like it's going to be ridiculous.
oh fuck, I didn't even know that was like a thing.
Yeah, go look at a bunch of old people.
Yeah, like you always notice like old people like they have. Like, I always watch
Huge ears with hair coming out like they
yeah,
Just, like,
I watch Dr. Pimple Popper.
oh, I watched that one time. That's a gross show, but like I couldn't turn it off. But
Yeah.
I stumbled on it, but I wouldn't turn it back on.
So she always has old people, and they always have blackheads on their nose. So I'm always like, I like, and their noses are fucking huge.
Yeah, they
And
just keep growing.
and I never even knew. I never even knew that
It's
was
a horrible,
like
and I can't figure out a reason as to why. Maybe because
there's
you
only
can't,
one part of my body that I wish would just keep growing.
that's outgrown at 12.
Yeah. But I don't understand. I that boggles my mind.
Yeah, it's a fun fact. Oh, you want to know another fun fact that has to do with kind of age that I saw today? That's kind of it's something that you just don't think about, and it kind of blew my mind. The year 2023, which we're in now, and the year 1980, which corresponds back to when we did the 80s episode, is the same difference between 1980 and 1937. Like right now, thinking back to 1980, doesn't seem like it seems like a far back, but within our realm. But when it was 1980, it's the same distance to 1937.
That's fucking sad. That's really
And 1937 to me seems like I think there's cavemen walking around. You know, like that's what it feels like to me.
I know. I feel like
did they have TVs? Like
yeah,
you
didn't have
nothing
TVs,
happened.
you didn't have the internet,
Dirt floors.
You
in their
listened to
house.
like fucking radios, and you thought aliens were taking over the world
Right,
because
there's
you didn't know
one
better.
station. You know.
Yeah. Oh.
You want to do one more 360 and let me just throw you a curveball?
Yeah.
I wrote this question down. I think people call them shower thoughts, or it normally hits me when I'm driving. Bobble dick. Do you ever think you've talked to a serial killer and not know it?
Oh shit.
Everyday run of the mill, because serial killers aren't serial killing all the time, right?
Yeah.
They're just
doing
out.
normal.
They
normal
gotta do semi-normal shit in between.
They gotta find
killing.
the people they're gonna
Right.
kill. Yeah.
Do you ever think you just stumbled across one? Like, I think about that a lot. Have I ever?
Do you really think about that a lot?
I mean, I define a lot, but like it has popped in my head probably about a dozen times in the last several years.
There'll be people that like I'll see out that I'm like, that person's probably a pedophile or a serial killer or something like
He's a
that.
kitty diddler.
Yeah, he's a diddler. But yeah, no, I feel like serial killers got to be like less than 0.5% of the world's population. In my mind.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure,
I could
yeah.
be wrong. I could be wrong about it. The likelihood of you actually talking to a serial killer is probably like the same odds of you hitting the lottery.
What about somebody who's killed someone and has not been caught? So they're not a
Isn't it a
serial
serial
killer.
killer?
Well, a serial killer kills people like continuously, has multiple people.
Huh.
Somebody who's maybe just killed someone and gotten away with it, and maybe just doesn't have the thirst for blood like serial killers do. Because there's so many I mean, where we live in Baltimore,
Yeah.
I mean, there's 400 homicides a year, and they solve like 20 of them.
I mean, I saw a guy get murdered in front of me.
Oh, that's
before.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
But they probably caught the guy.
They did catch the guy. He killed somebody who was friends with somebody you shouldn't kill. That guy is no longer with us. He went to jail and he never got out of jail. If you killed somebody, would you brag about it?
No.
Say you meant to kill someone, all right? You meant to kill someone, and then you got off on a technicality. All right, would you be like this? Hey, remember the time I killed that guy?
No.
And I got off of
I
it?
can't even get wrapping my mind around killing someone. I'm
God.
just not like an angry dude. When I was in middle school, I got a pellet gun.
Mm-hmm.
And as all kids do, I thought, let me shoot some shit. I shot a bird in my yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you ever seen a bird that shot, and I don't know what kind of bird it was. It maybe a robin, maybe, I don't know, just a regular backyard bird. I mean, my aim, I don't even know how I hit this thing. Like it's a shitty pellet gun from a half of a yard
9
away.
times out of 10 you'd miss
No,
it.
and I don't even know if I was truly aiming at it. I was shooting at it without the full intention of ever hitting it. Do you know what I mean? I was just doing it. And I fucking hit this bird. And it started flapping around the whole yard and it like loses its feathers. It like shoots its feathers off.
Really?
Like all his feathers just went whoosh, like off.
Because he was dying?
I don't know if it's like a defense mechanism or if it's something they do to, I don't know.
Like, like crabs can like lose a
like
limb.
lose a limb or something.
And
Yeah,
then grow back.
I don't know if he was just flapping his wings, so much. I don't know what it was. I had feathers all over my fucking yard. So not only did I have to go out and like actually kill this bird, I had to pick up all the fucking feathers before my parents got home. The yard. That was
Because you didn't want them to know that like you killed a bird?
Yeah, like in my panic state, I thought they're gonna know I killed it. But I mean, really, it could have been any. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, you see a bunch
like,
of feathers, you just hit him with the lawnmower and you just let him keep going.
Yeah,
But
like nobody's gonna be
nobody would have known that.
my kid.
They would have
is-
correlated that.
Yes,
But in my
yes.
mind at the time, like I thought, like the evidence of the dead bodies are piling up in my yard. You know, like,
Yeah.
that was the first and last time I ever did that. Like I learned my lesson.
Do
I
you
felt
think
like
about that bird?
this is the first time I probably thought about the bird in 30, 40 years. I don't know. You know how long it's been, but you know, but it made me feel like enough like shit that I never did it again.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the maddest you've ever been in your life? Like, can you think of a time like where you were the angriest you ever been?
The angriest I've ever been. My old group of friends when I used to live when I grew up. One of my friends broke into my house when I wasn't there and stole money from me.
Oh, really?
Like legit broke into my parents, like my house. And I had everybody over that
you got
day.
some good friends.
Oh, well, this is. I don't talk to any of them anymore. But I had everybody over, hanging out, and everybody party at my house. And one of them must have went in my room and somehow saw where I had some money.
It's like Breaking Bad, where they saw like the bag of money.
Yeah,
where,
like,
where
and
Jesse had the bag of money.
And it wasn't. I mean, looking back, it was like $500, right?
Yeah, but
at that time, yeah,
that's
like
$40,000
Right.
to you. Yeah.
And everybody knew I was going to a party that night. Whoever saw where the money was told the one guy that would do it. And he was older and he was into shit that I wasn't into and I didn't really like to hang out with him. And then they recruited another one of my friends as a lookout to see if I was coming home. And then the one guy broke in my house, went in, stole the money. And then,
While your parents were home?
no, my parents were out of town. My parents went out of town every weekend. So when I came home from the party, they broke in through a basement window and then he left out the back door. So when I came home at like 3 a.m, my back door was open and there was a trail of blood coming out of my house. He had cut himself on the window coming in. Now I didn't know that at the time. I just saw my back door open and a trail of blood.
Yeah.
So what the fuck do you freak out? So it took me a long time to go in my house because
I mean, yeah,
I'd be
because you're
scared
scared.
as shit. And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
like for whatever reason, I didn't call the cops. I'm just like scoping out my house. Finally, I went in. The trail of blood led from my back door down the steps into my bedroom. So like, I know like, and there was nothing disturbed. There was nothing disturbed in my house at all other than
like a good criminal there.
they just broke the window to like one of my basement windows and then ran in, grabbed it, and then ran up the steps and out the back door. So it was a perfect trail. So I knew, as soon as I knew that what was gone, I had a 1 to 2 to 3 person idea who did it. So the next day I called somebody that I knew didn't do it was my buddy Drew. I'm like, hey, can you pick me up? We got to do a little investigation. So he picked me up. We rode around. We went to the guy's house that did it. He was my first person that I thought did it. Walked in his house.
And he was the guy who did it.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
At the time, I didn't know, although I was like 95% sure that he had something to do with it. But he wasn't at my house earlier. So I know that if he was doing it, there was somebody else involved as well. So we went to his house. And it was like 9 a.m. And he was laying in bed. And he wouldn't shake my hand because he had cut it.
Oh.
So he kept his hand under his blanket. And he was just like, what's up? He called me Captain all the time. What's up, Captain? How's it going, man? I'm like, question, like, where were you at last night? Oh, no, whatever. When we
Did you notice that he wasn't like his one hand was
absolutely. So I just kept it cool. We left. And then we went up to a couple other people's houses. The next day, and he had new clothes on, new shoes. My one buddy had a new pair of rollerblades. So I'm like, you're it. This motherfucker it. It was a weird scenario because some people who I thought were my friends were now hanging out with him because now all of a sudden he like bought a bunch of weed or something, something stupid with it. And they were like, oh, I'm just going to go hang out with him. So anyway, I called my one buddy and I was pissed because like somebody within your circle does something shitty. Like you should cast that guy aside.
Yeah.
Not like side with him just because, now you can party with him.
Yeah.
So I called my buddy Mike. Shout out Mike Byer. I was like, hey man, this is the scenario. And without hesitation, he was like, I'm there. Dude showed up. We drove around, saw this guy walking. And when I saw him, like, I can't even tell you how mad I was. So he sees me. We get out and we start chasing him. Me and Mike. And this guy's a smoker, drug addict, so he wasn't getting very far. We've caught up to him. I was so mad. We just started stomping him. Like, we just started stomping. And then Mike started counting out. He was like, 100. And he was started beating him. And then like 200. He's like, I'm gonna beat the, you know. So like we end up beating the shit out of him. And like it felt good, but I still didn't have my $500. You know what I mean? Like you kind of still feel pissed.
Yeah.
So like he was like, oh, I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back. To his credit, he did pay me back. He came like 3 times and paid me back. And every time.
Did he pay back for the window?
No, he didn't pay back for the window. I don't even know how I fixed that because my parents never found out about the window.
I was like, you broke a window. So.
Yeah, it was one of like a shitty basement window, and I think my parents had a couple extra panes of glass, like a weird thing. I just took
it was an easy way to fix
it. Yeah. Well, the guy that did it ended up being he robbed a store out in Frederick, and he's in jail now. Or something.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was like, this dude's probably
went down the path of exactly what you would think he was. He would go down. I haven't talked to any of those people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you.
I mean, there's no reason.
There's a reason to do it.
Don't do drugs, kids. They make you do stupid shit.
It's where the show goes. Inappropriate goes all over the place with it.
Inappropriate friends.
Yep. The angriest I've ever been, is gonna make me see. God. Week after week, I'm just a shitty person, and this is just gonna make me see me even shittier. There used to be a bar that we would go to every week. All right, and
what's a bar? That bar isn't around anymore, is it?
Yeah, it was used to be called. I don't want to say it because the rest of the story is gonna go. So.
Okay,
but there was a guy. God, it's gonna make me sound like such a fucking dick. There was a guy. Well,
if anyone hasn't made up their mind about you from your the episode with your brother,
yeah,
you know, I feel like people have already made up their mind whether you're an asshole or not.
Yeah. So the bar we would go to, it was like by the water, and it was when you would walk into the bar, it was kind of narrow, and there was a handicap guy.
Oh God!
All right. He was in a wheelchair, and he had like one of those motorized wheelchairs that he could like drive down and stuff. But he sold drugs. So he sold drugs out like underneath his wheelchair or whatever it was. But when you go to the bar, he would be in the middle aisle of the bar, and you could never get around him. And then if you were like, "Hey man,
was he like cocky because he sold drugs?"
Yes, he thought he was the shit because he sold drugs. I'd be like, "Hey man, can you like wheel your chair over? I'm trying to get by," you know. And he'd be like, "Fuck you," you know, blah 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 blah. Like, and this fucking guy in a wheelchair.
I love that he's like so cocky, like fuck off.
I know, he would tell me to fuck off. So he would tell me, you know, fuck off. You know, I'm not letting you by. It would enrage me. He thought he was the king shit. One night,
I see where this is going.
One night, we left the bar, and he was there fucking, like, being, like, you know, big fucking shit in his fucking...
Doing wheelies and shit.
Doing fucking popping wheelies and all that shit. When he left...
Doing donuts.
When he left, he would just have to, like, wheel his wheelchair all the way home. And, God damn it, this is going to make me sound like such a dick. But he would wheel his wheelchair all the way home. One night, it was foggy as shit.
It was a dark and foggy night.
It was a dark and foggy night. My buddies were driving home, and I saw him. I was like, there's that motherfucker. And my boys, who may or may not have been on this podcast, was like, I dare you go hit him.
Oh.
And I was like, you know what? Fucking pull over. I get to the corner of the street. It's foggy as shit. You can't see like 3 feet in front of your face. It's like that foggy. I start running as fast as I can. And the guy's just like motoring down the street, you know, like trying to get home. And he's motoring down the street, and I'm running. I'm running. I can't see anything. I see the like silhouette of him in his fucking motorized wheelchair, and I fucking run up and clothesline the motherfucker.
from the back or from the front?
From the front.
Oh, so he flipped backwards. Jesus Christ.
So he flips.
Oh my God.
He flips over, and I just keep on running. And I fucking just run back to my house. Like I just run away.
So
and
he
run
didn't
to
know
my-
it was you.
Yeah. So he never knew it was me. And then my buddy who was at the corner of the street, he walks up the street. The fucking guy is crawling back to his wheelchair.
Oh, Jesus God.
Crawling
We're going to hell.
I know. He gets back in it, gets up, and starts wheeling away. And he sees my buddy, and he was just like, "Did you know that guy who just hit me?" And he says, he's like, "No, I didn't know who he was." He was like, "If you know him, tell him he's dead." The next week, see the guy at the bar. Never knew it was me. Fucking still in the. But guess what? He. I would say, "Excuse me, sir. Can I get by?" He would get out of the way after that. So, it's
Maybe a life lesson for
maybe
everybody.
beat up handicapped people.
I mean, we named this podcast Inappropriate, but damn, that's
about
that's
about as inappropriate as you can
you're
get.
not gonna
so-
get many fans on that one. It's
we might lose listeners based off of that.
Jeez.
So it is, in hindsight now, like I kind of feel bad about it. Like I mean, I'm not gonna say I feel totally bad about it, but like the fact that
I mean, you could take a little, I guess, consolation, if that's the word, in knowing that he was an asshole drug dealer
yeah, and
who
his
just
brother was like a
happened-
big drug dealer
who just happened to be handicapped.
Yeah,
He wasn't like a handicapped guy that sold drugs because Social Security wasn't paying the bills and he couldn't get a normal job.
Yeah.
So he was left of a life on the streets.
Yeah. Like, he was always drinking. He was always drinking Bud Ices and smoking cigarettes. In the middle of
Steve
the bar.
was a real life vigilante. Essex man.
I took the justice in my own hands there. You know what? No matter your disabilities or handicaps in life, if you do wrong,
Steve will punch you in the face.
wrong. You get wrong.
You live by the streets, you die
You
by the
die by the
streets.
streets.
Well, all right. Well, if we have any listeners left after this week, hopefully you tune in next week.
Never thought I was going to tell that story.
Yeah, these are a couple stories. Maybe that we don't air this one. I don't know.
I don't know.
I have to see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Inappropriate with Jim and Steve.
Call us at 856-843-5577 to
Leave a
tell
message.
us how much of an asshole we are. Specifically, Steve. Maybe me. I don't know.
Tell us the stories of the time you beat up a handicapped person.
I would love for somebody to call us or message us with a good story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm fairly certain no one can top clotheslining a handicapped person in the middle of the night. But
In the dead of fog.
you never know. Some of our inappropriates out there might actually have a story that can compete with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for Inappropriate, I'm Jim.
I'm Steve.
And we'll see you next week.